What's up, guys? This is Preston here.
Hey, it's Schalk.
We're going to be talking today about discrimination, white privilege, and just kind of challenging the whole concept behind those topics.
So, I grew up in South Africa, and it's a completely different setting in South Africa. Or let me put it this way, white privilege says that because you're white, you're automatically at the top of the, if you want to call it, the food chain. So white males and then everyone else below you. In South Africa, growing up there, it was completely reversed. It would be everyone else and then white males at the bottom. The reason I say this is because, like I said, I grew up there. My dad was a doctor there. He tried specializing 4 or 5 different times, and each time they told him because he was white, he wasn't allowed to specialize. Because whites aren't the majority in South Africa, and the blacks are, it means that everyone else, like I said, the scale is completely reversed. So because, like I said, my dad was a white doctor, one of the reasons we moved to Canada is because they said all white doctors in rural areas had shut down their practices. So one of the reasons why we ended up moving to Canada is because we lost our privilege and we had to get out of the country because we had zero privilege left anymore. White privilege is a very, I want to say, a Western thought of mine. I think privilege everywhere, it depends which nationality, which ethnic group is in power. In the Western world, I think whites are the majority, so that's why it's called white privilege. In South Africa or other African countries where it's more predominantly blacks, I want to say it's more black privilege. So wherever you're from, whichever country you're from, I think that's where, depending which nationality is in power or which nationality is more predominant, that's where all the privilege comes from. So when we moved to Canada, I got a lot of questions asked, not believing and not understanding that, I'm from South Africa and I'm white. And as soon as, they figured out I wasn't white, they started judging me because I was white and not black.
Yeah, just touching, I guess, a little bit on what Schalk had said there. We have heard many times that white privilege is a global phenomenon. But as Schalk had shown that it's not 100% global. I know in Japanese culture, they don't take outsider cultures at all. There's no tolerance in that country. So you can't. If Schalk or I were to move to Japan, they would make zero effort to make us comfortable. Japanese culture would make no accommodations for us. We would have to make ourselves comfortable in Japanese culture, heritage, etc. So in that country, if you're not of Japanese descent, if you don't follow Japanese practices, there is no privilege at all, even if you are white. So that also there disproves that white privilege is global, which brings up an idea of white privilege just being an American way of thinking.
Or Western society.
Because we always think we're
the white males are in power.
Yeah, and that's not not always the case. You just need to open your eyes and take a look.
That's the same like in South Africa. Like my auntie and my uncle, they were both in the police force. They both started the same time, both started the same rank. They were both white. My uncle stayed at the same rank for I think 5-6 years, and in those 5-6 years my auntie, I think she went up 4 or 5 different ranks just because she was a white female. So again, saying that white males are always always privileged isn't always true. It all depends again where you're living and where you're living. I don't know, I think people just like discriminating against anything that's different from them. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, when I moved to Canada, even though I was white, and even though I was in the majority group, I was discriminated against because I wasn't a white Canadian or a white North American. As weird as that sounds, I was discriminated against even though I was white, by whites. So doesn't that kind of, debunk the whole thing of white privilege and,
Inclusiveness almost.
Yeah, it's because I'm white, I should be accepted. Like, I wasn't. I mean, I was made fun of because I was South African. I was made fun of because I wasn't a black South African. I was made fun of because I was a white South African. So
Yeah.
that makes no sense.
Basically, as soon as any type of privilege or power or autonomy that an individual has, as soon as that's taken away or changed, in my opinion, that's discrimination. So that happens on a day-to-day basis, and we as a society need to work at minimizing it. I don't think we'll ever eliminate it, just because there's so many different people out there. It's going to be impossible to please everybody, to have one single thing that works for 7 billion different people, right? Like, it's just not.
And there's always going to be the people that don't want to accept change, that don't want to accept that, everyone's the person, everyone's the same.